The following featured presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 510 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Holy Minox, doesn't get any weirder than this.
Yeah.
Let's get one franchise and map another franchise over that, and let's see if anyone notices.
So that will explain a lot moving forwards.
Here's my original comic.
Ooh.
My original 1981.
Okay, can I
Get
have
your
this?
hands away from my comic.
But I feel like this cover art raises a lot of questions and makes me want to turn the page. So it did its job.
It warms the very cockles of my tauntaun. Oh my...
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! What would it look like if Star Wars twisted, clashed, and combined with John Carter? You are about to find out. Just make sure the little ones are nowhere around. It does get very, very risque. But until then, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Wolosky, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who is rocking a little John Carter right now.
What? What are you talking about?
That John Carter retro science fiction
Oh, I see.
headband.
Yes, the Tomorrowland Mickey ears are very retro.
Yeah.
I like them a lot. That's why I got them. I don't know. I couldn't resist. But I
You
realized...
were all about the John Carter. Come on.
Yeah, that's me.
Has anyone ever said that?
I don't know.
Disney made it into a film when they lost billions of dollars.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, John Carter and the Mars of Freedom and the Warlords
I
of...
think it was just called John Carter.
John Carter, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is always confusing because that's the name of Noah Wiley's character on ER.
Really?
It's like, why are you making a movie about him?
Oh, welcome, Spencer. Spencer's ready too.
Yeah, he's taking a couple of minutes off from packing.
Oh.
Yeah, Spencer's going to Japan.
Exciting.
As we found out a couple of episodes ago, and he was on the last episode of classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Perfect. Well, full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, classic Marvel, and pop culture fandom. So imagine your weekly Wookiee hug and your little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. We are live on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel right now. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell for alerts. We've gotten some new subscribers this week. How many, Richard?
We got 6.
Oh.
6 subscribers
All
this
right.
week, which means we now have 9,328 YouTube subscribers.
Not bad. Not bad. We're making our way.
We're inching our way up to that 9.5 thousand subscribers, which we
Yeah.
want to hit by Comic-Con,
That's right.
which I think we'll do.
Absolutely. Now, in this episode, we break down issue number 53 of classic Marvel Star Wars comics titled The Last Gift from Alderaan. This comic combines Star Wars and John Carter in very weird ways.
Yeah, what kind of weird ways?
Well, just make sure the little ones are out of the room.
Yeah.
Since it does get risque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wow. We're going to get into it, you guys. In fact, I really recommend that you watch the YouTube version of this podcast because holy cow, holy buckets.
Holy Minox, doesn't get any weirder than this.
Yeah.
All right, now we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, or a trip to the Universal Studios theme parks, namely Epic Universe, which just opened in a couple of weeks now.
Yep.
Already people are posting videos for the soft openings of Dark Universe.
They've had their media days, and all the media, oh my gosh, they're posting.
Yeah, people running around with Dracula and Bride of Frankenstein and the Invisible Man.
And the little, not dinosaurs,
the little dragons.
Oh!
How to Train Your Dragon Land.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so if you want to get in on all this fun, contact smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you and that we are very jealous of those who are already there.
That's right. Okay, now, before we get into our show, we have an announcement. So, Skywalkers, we have a new TeePublic Dashery store, and this is where you can get any of the merchandise and designs that we have on TeePublic. So that's t-shirts, that's mugs, that's pillows. Oh, like the one I'm sitting on. That's pillows. any kind of items you would like.
Boy, you're short.
I know. I use it as a booster. I have a booster seat.
Do you know why? Because we don't have telephone books anymore. So she's going to sit on pillows.
It's more comfy. Okay. Now, so this new Dashery store supports us 200% more than the TeePublic store does, which is awesome. So from now through Sunday, April 13th, we are offering a store launch discount on all items. It's at least 20% off. So check out skywalkingthroughnneverland.dashery.com. That's DASHERY.com. And you'll see all the items that maybe you've seen before. And like our logo t-shirts, we've got Ballad of the Witches Road shirt up there. We've got other designs like the Hoojib design.
The Hoojibs, all the past Skywalking Through Neverland logo shirts.
Yes.
The Galaxy's Edge shirts, the I Have Spoken, This is the Way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just a reminder, this store is affiliated with TeePublic, so we're still with TeePublic, and our items will still be available there too, but once again, buying from skywalkingthroughnneverland.dashery.com really supports us 200% more, so we really recommend you do that, and thank you for all your support. And May the 4th is coming up, so if you have a Star Wars fan in your life that needs some fun stuff, that's a great place to go.
And we thank you 200.
Aww. How long were you sitting on that one?
Seconds. That one just came to me.
That was great.
Thank you.
Oh, sounds great, says Fernando. Welcome, Fernando.
All right, now we are recording this from Long Beach, California on April the 9th, 2025.
So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, let's go back 41 years to this date, April the 9th, 1984, when Return of the Jedi wins a Special Achievement Award for visual effects at the 56th Academy Awards. And who do you think presented the award? I know the first thing that comes to mind is Cheech and Chong. Of course, who else would present the Return of the Jedi visual effects team with an award but Cheech and Chong? So they presented the award to Richard Edlund, Phil Tippett, Ken Ralston, and Dennis Murin.
And my theory of life now. Once there was the dawn.
Hey, listen, man. We didn't win these. These aren't for us.
Hot chicken, man.
I'd like to thank Don Dow, Bill Kimberlin, and the 120 artists at Industrial Light and Magic who contributed to this film, and also to the force behind the force, George Lucas.
Thanks, George.
George Lucas.
George.
Now, Return of the Jedi was robbed from other technical awards it was up for, so I'm glad someone at the Academy made the call to give the Jedi crew this special award, because if they didn't, there would be riots. Now, my friend Jimmy Pruitt, he had just got his VCR at this time, and he recorded this whole episode, this whole 56 Academy Awards show, and we watched this little bit again and again and again, and I couldn't believe this technology lets you rewatch things again and again and again. So my mom's birthday was the month later, so I said, "Happy birthday, you're gonna buy us a VCR."
For her birthday.
For her birthday. And she said, "Okay."
My goodness.
Yeah, and I still have that very first VCR tape that I ever got, that I ever recorded. I recorded everything on this one tape. I think the first thing I ever recorded was an NPR Empire Strikes Back commercial.
Wow.
It came on. It's like, oh, I think I can record this. I pressed the record button, and I watched that 30-second commercial over and over again.
Now, did you ever, in the recorder, did you ever accidentally tape over something? Because don't you have to have like a blank tape in there to do that?
Yeah. But I put it on the 6-hour speed, which means you can record up to 6 hours. Little did I know that that time meant that you were going to get a lot of grain.
Yes.
And a lot of streaks.
Okay.
And it was not going to be the best condition as opposed to the 2-hour speed where it was higher grade. So you put on the 6-hour speed.
Yes,
and things
you get lower quality.
Lower quality, things come out grainy. And that first tape, it's like blurs.
Oh, no. All right. Well, to put a button on this, Maria says Return of the Jedi was the first movie my parents took me to when I was 6 years old.
All right. Glenn Stein comes in with, why were the Oscars in April? Oh. No idea. Not a clue. Ask Cheech and Chong.
Skywalking through classic Marvel. Skywalking through classic Marvel comics.
It is time for Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics. We are back with issue 53, The Last Gift from Alderaan. Warning, warning! This issue and the next one were based on unused art for the canceled Marvel Comics series, John Carter, Warlord of Mars. So take a good look at this artwork, Skywalkers.
Yeah, so that is important information coming up. Now, this John Carter series had 28 issues and 3 annuals, but Marvel pulled the plug and canceled it. So Carmine Infantino had provided some of the artwork for this series, and not wanting to waste this artwork because that was money, Marvel had Chris Claremont write a new story based on this existing artwork, and then he had Walter Simonson adapt Infantino's art as needed to fit these coming Star Wars issues.
Like inserting a Star Wars character in existing art with no Star Wars characters, and apparently set on Mars.
Exactly. It's like, let's get one franchise and map another franchise over that, and let's see if anyone notices.
Exactly.
Guess what? We noticed.
All right, so that will explain a lot moving forwards.
Now, as we read these issues, I love going through them and remembering the artwork that I had enjoyed while looking at these pages back in the 70s and 80s. This Marvel series ran from 1977 through 1986, and I just loved looking at the artwork. Never read the books until like issue, I want to say like 62. As we go along, we're going to make several connections from these comics to the current day shows and films and novels and video games. And yeah, Marvel, Star Wars, we know, we're noticing, okay?
We are.
Yeah, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, we got you.
Oh yeah, you can tell they were big fans of this comic series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unlike me though, I'm reading these comics for the very first time, and I'll definitely be sharing my initial thoughts on them. And as this is the 21st century, those are my 21st century thoughts. And also my artistic thoughts, because being an artist, I definitely have that eye. And I love comparing the different styles that the various artists really bring to the series.
Now, Maria says in the Sky Chat, beautiful artwork. Yes, it really is for John Carter.
Yeah.
Meredith Duckworth, hey Meredith, she says, I actually love John Carter more than Tarzan.
I think the movie, but it has not had a good time in Hollywood.
The actual books. These were written by Edward Rice Burroughs.
Okay, so Meredith, are you talking about the movie or the books?
The books. Yeah. Edward
did
Rice
he write
Burroughs
Tarzan
wrote
as well?
Tarzan as well as John Carter.
Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering why she was comparing it to Tarzan. I'm like, how do these movies have any relation? Okay, I get it.
Now we're connecting the dots. And Fernando, he loved the movie John Carter.
Okay.
Doesn't understand why it wasn't a success.
I remember watching like this first scene and then I fell asleep. So.
Well, because everyone walked in expecting an ER movie. It's John Carter. He's from ER. Where's George Clooney? The books. Meredith says the books.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. The last classic Marvel Star Wars comics issue to take the Tarkin finished that story arc, so this issue here sets up a whole new story.
Oh, thank goodness.
Here is the summary. Princess Leia Organa investigates Imperial activity in the Shiva system, but her ship is damaged by a space mine. Leia escapes in a shuttle, which crashes on Shiva IV and is attacked by a savage raiding party. A group of natives, led by Aron Peacebringer, the Star Wars adapted John Carter, and Kéral Longknife, thwart the raiders and rescue the princess. Leia returns to the capital city with Aron and tries to warn him of the danger of the Galactic Empire, but the Warlord is not convinced that such an empire exists. During a gala, Aron then learns the hard way about this non-existing empire.
All right, so they're saving time and using the artwork from John Carter. At least put some of that time back into the names. Aron Peacebringer, Kéral Longknife.
What?
Come on, people. Come on,
They
come on,
don't
Marvel.
sound like Star Wars names.
No,
and
well, because they're not.
it's bad. Oh my gosh.
All right, this issue, The Last Gift from Alderaan, was released on August the 18th, 1981. And it was written by Chris Claremont, artwork by Walt Simonson and Carmine Infantino, coloring by Glynis Wein. And now the cover art is by Walt Simonson. Now look at this cover art. Here we have a stormtrooper, and he carries an unconscious Princess Leia towards a waiting TIE ship. Another trooper has another person slung over his shoulder and is climbing up a rope ladder to the ship. And all backed by a fiery red background.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, Skywalkers who are in the Sky Chat, we want your comments on this cover.
All right, now, this was so exciting to me as a kid because it looked like there were giant stormtroopers. Giant stormtroopers? We've never seen this.
Oh, because Leia looks so small?
Yeah, a new kind of stormtroopers. We've had stormtroopers and snow troopers, but now we have giant troopers. Oh, this was so exciting. I couldn't wait to see these troopers. Also, I like that they were adding a ship like the TIE bomber that we only saw for a couple of seconds in The Empire Strikes Back. But I found out later on this is not a TIE bomber.
Oh.
No, it's a TIE boarding ship.
Oh, okay. You mean like this one?
Like this one right over here. And this was conceived by Joe Johnston in 1977. And you'll see this in the Art of Star Wars book. So I'm sure maybe this is like 1976, 1975.
Mm-hmm.
So they did some research. They did some homework. Oh, in fact, hold on one second.
Oh, okay. Do you have the Art of Star Wars? Is that what you're getting?
As a matter of fact, yes, I do. Right over here.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
This was the Art of Star Wars. This is a book that featured a lot of Joe Johnston sketches
Okay.
of different ships and let me see over here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ships and different, all kinds of stuff. Death Star modules. But the point is that someone went into this book and saw that TIE boarding ship and said, we're going to use that. I give them a lot of credit for that.
That's really neat. Yeah, let's look at this again. So yeah. So that's in this book right here.
That's in this book right over here, The Art of Star Wars.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of books, here's my original comic. My original 1981.
Okay, can I
Get
have
your
this?
hands away from my comic. Yes, my original 1981 comic.
And Rex is saying, make mine Marvel. Enough said.
Mm-hmm. Plus, let's go back to the cover.
Okay.
There's prospects of winning a Columbia 10-speed Formula Racer.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Was this in the comic here?
This was this
Grand
was like
prize drawing.
A little tiny ad in the comic. I had to go through this issue like 4 or 5 times to find it.
And it's on the cover. It's like big. It's on the cover as like a splash banner.
A big banner.
I wonder how much they paid for that.
I don't know, and I wish I knew who won it, but I don't.
Yeah. Oh, too bad. Well, let's go back to this cover. Now, Richard, was that all your comments?
On the cover, yes.
Oh.
On the issue, we haven't even started.
No, we haven't begun. All right, so I had no idea what I was in for in this issue when I saw this cover, so I thought it was really neat. I especially love the colors of this cover. You have this orange to yellow sunset background, and this contrasts very nicely with the white and the soft blue and purple of the Stormtrooper, Leia, and the TIE Fighter. I guess I can see how a kid's brain would think that Stormtrooper is giant looking at it now, but that didn't faze me at all.
Okay, spoiler, those are supposed to be giant stormtroopers.
Oh!
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. All right. But Leia, so I feel like Leia looks passed out and a stormtrooper is carrying her somewhere. Looks like she's being kidnapped. We'll see, but I feel like this cover art raises a lot of questions and makes me want to turn the page. So it did its job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then the artwork and the marketing worked on you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Maria says awesome cover and also asks a very important question. Where are these comics found?
Oh, Marvel Unlimited.
Mm-hmm. It's an app that you can get and subscribe to. I think a year is like $60, but you can do it month to month. And it has like the whole Marvel library of comics, like thousands and thousands and thousands of comics way back to the golden age of comics, which is the 1930s.
Yeah, they have the original Spider-Man comics, the original Fantastic Four, the original Star Wars, and every single Star Wars series. And I have lost count on how many Star Wars comic series there have been. The Dark Horse comics as well.
Wow.
I would say thousands of titles. So well worth a $60 a year.
Yes, and I believe you can subscribe and you can see them on your computer. An iPad is probably the best way to look at the comics because it turns your iPad into a comic book.
And then you can zoom in on the pages too.
It's really cool.
Oh, I love that feature.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, now we put this cover out on our Facebook group and page and told the Skywalkers to go nuts. Tell us what you think of this cover art. And James Gildersleeve comes in with, that Stormtrooper is huge. He looks like a giant.
I don't know why I didn't see that.
Look how big he is. Look how little. I know Leia is small, but she's not that small.
I thought it was like forced perspective. I don't know. All right, Patrick Izzo says, I wonder who won the Columbia 10-speed racer. If you're in this group, make yourself known.
I wanted to know who won any of these contests. They were always running contests, and you never heard about the winners.
Yeah.
All right, Rex Gordon, who's in the Sky Chat right now, he says, love the TIE Bomber and large troopers. Not sure how safe that ladder is or how he's carrying and climbing, but it's okay. It's all for the good of the Empire. Clean lines and love the art. Make mine marvel.
Jeffrey M. Combs says, a repurposed John Carter of Mars script by Chris Claremont and drawn by Walt Simonson.
Boy, these Skywalkers really know their stuff.
Yes, they do. This gave us the first appearance of the Kaleesh, which are one of the few things from the old EU to resurface in the prequels. The Kaleesh were stand-ins for the Green Men of Barsoom, which is in the John Carter comics, making General Grievous' 4 arms make a lot of sense. Ooh. Okay. He's closer related to Tars Tarkus than any Star Wars character. Fitting, since
John Carter of Mars.
Okay, is one of the big inspirations for Star Wars.
Yes. Yes, so to jump ahead, there is a species in this comic which they've retconned to be Kaleesh, which is the species of General Grievous.
Okay, wow.
But we'll get to that later on.
Oh my goodness. All right, go ahead.
All right, Matt Schott says, the giant stormtrooper is odd. People love these giant stormtroopers. But I really like the sunset lighting and colors on this cover.
Yeah.
It's pretty striking. Also, the story arc in this issue, continued in the next, was and still is one of the only ones to deal with Leia actively mourning the loss of Alderaan. Good point. That alone elevates it for me, even if it repurposed Carmine Infantino's art and from an unused John Carter Warlord of Mars comic.
Yes.
So what stands out really here is the artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
All right, with that now, let's get into the story.
Oh boy, here we go.
All
Once
right.
again, if you're watching on YouTube, you will see the comic book art as we flip the page.
And we'll bring it to life in our narration and commentary.
Lots of narration.
Lots and lots. All right, the prologue here reads, once upon a time, there was a world named Alderaan, hailed by many as the bright center of the universe. Where have we heard that before?
Well, if there's a bright center to the universe, you're on the planet that it's farthest from.
Famed throughout the Empire for its music, its art, its literature, was a world of joy, of unsurpassed beauty, of peace. It no longer exists.
Ugh. And here we have this splash page, and on the top is your title, The Last Gift from Alderaan, and Leia sits in a white form-fitting outfit with a cool like zipper that's kind of across her chest. It's like a cross zipper. Looks neat, like a white bodysuit. And she's sitting in her pilot's chair looking at some Alderaan like view screens.
The monitors, yeah.
Yeah, some monitors, and one monitor has Alderaan and one monitor doesn't. There you go. A picture worth 1,000 words.
Oh
right
boy,
there.
I know I shouldn't laugh at other people's plight, but
Oh.
seeing these two monitors before and after, that come on.
That's bad. And she's looking so wistful.
Yeah.
And, oh, it's a nice rendering here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now the narration goes on. This woman is a child of that world. Leia Organa, Princess of Alderaan, Imperial Senator, turned leader of the Rebel Alliance. When Alderaan was destroyed by the Emperor's Death Star, she lost family, friends, all she ever knew and loved. Since then, she has borne her loss with stoic fortitude, but every so often her memories of that beautiful, terrible day rear up and once more begin to hammer at that wall Leia has built to protect herself from her grief. Alone on the command deck of a rebel blockade runner, Leia Organa walks with ghosts.
Now,
that should have been the name of the episode of the issue. Walks with Ghosts.
Leia walks with ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's very poetic. Now, all that narration you just read in the last like 5 minutes are on this first page.
Oh, I had to cut it down.
I know. There's more. It's like a book. This should have been a novella because there was so much reading. Now, like Matt Schott mentioned in the comments on the cover, I've always wondered about Leia losing her whole world, her childhood home, her memories, anywhere she visited on that planet. And I'm glad they're digging into it here, or at least starting to.
On one page.
Yes. Now, in A New Hope, after Luke, Leia, and Han escape the Death Star, Luke, they go to that moment. Luke is so bummed that Ben died. He's sitting at the table like, oh, and Leia's comforting him. And yet, at this point, Leia has lost her whole planet, and Luke has lost a man he's known for barely. I mean, he's known him since he was 10, but, like, not really known him for, like, less than 24 hours. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that shows you what a strong character Leia is.
Yeah, that's true. It's just an odd thing to focus on. So I'm glad that this comic makes a reference to it at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she knows what Luke is going through. And he's just a kid, a farm boy.
That's
true. He's so inexperienced compared to her. So she did a great job in comforting him.
I mean, they are the same age, but yes, she has a lot more experience.
All right, now she thinks about the last moments on Alderaan and wonders if her parents knew what was coming and knew it was all her fault. Leia carefully recounts the memories of being sent to search for Obi-Wan Kenobi, former general in the Clone Wars, but instead was captured by Darth Vader.
I have to give credit here to the artwork. So this panel of Leia with the little tear down her face and Obi-Wan Kenobi on her shoulder, like over her shoulder, is really nice. And he's kind of in that hologrammy thing that we'll see him in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, Leia, I wouldn't put this all on your shoulders.
No.
You had to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then Leia mournfully thinks that even if she knew what was coming and Alderaan's fate, she would have still kept quiet since the rebellion was worth more than their lives.
Wow.
All right, now, as this is going on, looks like someone has already started the job and deflated Alderaan. Look at the way it looks on the monitor. It's like a basketball losing air.
It does. It's not a perfectly round circle.
Tarkin's like, hey, did someone let out the air in Alderaan? Well, why is it deflating? Wait until I give the word, okay? It's all down to me. I'm the captain of this ship. I'm the captain, Krennic. I'm the captain.
All right.
She remembers this part of her life very well. She doesn't recall the coloring of Tarkin's outfit though.
Yeah, wasn't he in gray.
And in green, but she's, I guess, during this time, she's thinking, did Tarkin have a red collar or a green collar? Can't remember.
But this is like bright green, and Tarkin in the movie, isn't it like
it's
a
all,
muddy...
It's all like that olive green.
Muddy olive green, yeah. Wow.
Now, in the film, after she says that the rebel base is on Dantooine, which Tarkin then says, continue with the operation, you may fire when ready. Hold on. You may continue with the operation, you may fire when ready.
Fire when ready.
Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
Hillsborough historian, is that Rex?
Yeah.
Says, Holiday Tarkin. With red and green.
The red and green.
Yeah.
Ready for the holidays.
And even his insignias on the side are like red and white. So you got red, white, green.
Yeah. I think she was maybe focusing on other things, like her whole world coming to an exploding ending.
Yeah.
Rather than Tarkin's collar. I understand it. You know what? I'll give him a pass.
Just then, Captain Shidaki brings Leia out of a trance and says they dropped out of hyperspace and are now in the Shiva system at the edge of known space.
Or as we call it, Galaxy's Edge.
Leia tells him that even though we are so far out, there has been a lot of Imperial activity here, and she wants to know why. Wow, that line was lost on me in all this narration, but reading it now and knowing where this comic goes, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now they all got to suit up, but there's a sudden explosion.
Uh-oh.
And Leia calls out with a...
Yee! Girl!
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not sure. Yee! Girl!
A commander inside shouts to someone named Jubilee. Come on, the names. Marvel, the names. Jubilee, come on. And tells him to get down to that shuttle bay and help. So they're in this shuttle. They're about to go off into Shiva IV. And there's an explosion. Where did that come from? We don't know just yet.
And they're still in the big ship, too. So they're on the shuttle. Okay.
Okay, now there are small undetected mines in this area of space which had caused the explosion. There's your answer right there. However, a heat signature now comes from the blockade runner, which may be detected by the Imperials.
Uh-oh. Also, this is scary. A minefield. I don't know, like a minefield in space. That's terrifying.
And these mines are so small that they didn't even see them. That's what's even scarier.
Ugh.
All right, now the explosion has not only killed Shidaki, which is why we had no Fatum fast fact, but ignited the fuses in the shuttle. In an act of bravery, Leia jettisons the shuttle away from the blockade runner. So if it's detected, then the Imperials won't find her team.
Leia then plummets towards Shiva IV below.
Now, according to the big titles on this next page, this next part of the story is called A Stranger Among Us, and I'm sure that's a John Carter reference.
Oh, okay. Those of you who've read the book, Meredith, is this a John Carter reference? Meredith, let us know. All right, buckle up, y'all, because we see a splash page here of 4 warriors. They are half naked, muscled men. Well, one of them is a dog-like alien, and they're sitting around a campfire out in the nighttime on their world of Shiva IV. Also, maybe it's Mars. The angle is canted, which lends it a bit of movement, and the long-winded narration explains who these men are and why they are here. So, Richard, why don't we get into that?
All right, now, I had to break this down because I kept getting confused on who was who.
Mm-hmm.
So these 4 night skin warriors, they are Aron Peacebringer. He's the leader who looks like Han Solo from the Power of the Force action figure lines. Very overly muscular.
He's on the right side of this group.
He's got the Han Solo head.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that was their connection to Star Wars.
Right.
There's Kéral Longknife. He's the only alien among them who looks like a dog.
Yes.
There's Havaro. He's the blonde guy.
Okay.
And there's Deloise.
Deloise? I would say Deloise.
Deloise. Okay.
I would call him Deloise, but you can say Deloise.
Okay. It was Deloise would have an E on the end. Deloise it is. Or Deloise. Now, that's like Dom DeLuise.
I know.
Now I can't get him out of my head. This guy looks nothing like Dom DeLuise. He's got dark hair with a big mustache.
Yes.
And I guess maybe he does look like Dom DeLuise.
There you go.
All right, now this next part is all through Aron's point of view.
Yeah, it's in first person. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So the world is old and tired, and its history is written in blood. But now that has changed because of two blood brothers, Kéral Longknife and Aron the Peacebringer, warlord of the Kalian Confederacy. And together, they have brought peace to the world. They hear the crash of the ship, and they run to check it out.
Oh my goodness. All these names being thrown out at you through the narration. Like, how are you supposed to keep up?
That's why I had to write this chart.
Oh, yeah. All right, so on their way to check it out, they see a lone human woman has been surrounded by a raiding party. The four warriors brandish their swords and quickly attack. Now, it should be noted that this whole page here, no Leia is in it at all.
No. There's no Star Wars in it at all.
Right. Yeah, this art was definitely the repurposed artwork. It's fun to see how they've weaved Leia into the story through dialogue rather than showing her. And if you weren't sure how far this comic will stray from a typical Star Wars comic, Aron is speaking here in first person. And that is something that is never done in a Star Wars comic up until this point.
Now, I can say that this comic really would have turned me off as how old was I? 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Because there's hardly any Star Wars in it at all.
I would have started flipping through till I saw Leia again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but we do come to Leia, and her inner monologue reveals that she's been on the run for 2 days. So 2 days she's been down here.
What?
In the middle of this great fight, she says, you read this.
I hope I'm not jumping out of a TIE fighter into the Death Star.
I love that line. That line is so funny.
It's so funny. But we do have to note these are comic book artists and they have studied anatomy and they want to show you that they've studied anatomy. So in the middle of this comic strip, the artist has found a way to give Leia a more revealing outfit. Half of her outfit, her bodysuit, has been like ripped off over the past 2 days. So it's kind of like Padme in the arena, right? And so like her leg has been ripped up to almost, her upper thigh. And it's very revealing.
She's been working on her buttock muscles.
She has.
On her glutes. She's been working on her glutes.
She's been working on her glutes a lot. However, the men have actually more revealing clothing.
But they're wearing like loincloths and straps.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I'm saying they're a little more revealing than Leia here.
I've got more fabric in my shoelace.
Well, one of the guys here says, "Have no fear, my lady." Oh, do you want to read this?
Okay. How does he sound?
Be very deep.
Yeah. Have no fear, my lady. While Jane Havero lives, the devils shall harm you not. Okay.
Apparently, that's not what Leia hears, and she can't understand this men's gibberish.
Yeah, so this is odd. So they're both speaking in English, but as it plays out here, no one can understand the other.
Right, through context clues. He's just saying, I can't understand him. What's going on? One of the guys says to Havero that he's getting careless, and all this talk might have cost him his handsome head. What? Havero responds,
"Though not quite as handsome as yours, Deloise."
What?
What are we reading here?
I don't know.
What's going on?
Well, get this. They proceed to shoot an outrider in the buttocks. This just got way more interesting.
With a blam. Oh my God.
Look at this.
You know what? I didn't notice that the first time around. He shoots him right in the buttocks.
Yeah, after they're complimenting each other like, "Oh, I'm handsome. Oh, no, you're handsome."
No, you're more handsome. You're in the middle of a battle. And they're debating about who's more handsome. Wow. Now, Aron's inner monologue comments that these raiders are doing well in battle, like they've been trained. These outcast bands have been pulled together in one cohesive combat force. He knows it's up to him to bring down this new band of outriders on horseback. Gotta love these horses, though.
Yeah, they're cool. I like them.
They have these like electric ear feathers.
Yeah.
Now he leaps and strikes one of the orange-skinned aliens and exclaims, "Fall, villains!" A few frantic, hard-fought minutes later, the outriders all scurry away.
All right, before we get into the rest of this comic, I have to comment on how much his outfit here is like He-Man. So check it out. Look at this. He's got the cross straps. Well, He-Man's nearly naked too. He-Man has a loincloth, right? And then he's got this cross strap over his chest, and he's very muscled. And so if you look at it, the only thing that's different from
Aron Peacebringer.
Peacebringer, yeah, Aron. So Aron just has dark hair like Han Solo, whereas He-Man has the bowl cut of Luke. But look at that. It's very similar. Even their poses. Yeah. All right. So Kéral Longknife comments that in happier times, before our two races signed the Concordat of Peace, a warrior of the 12 tribes would die rather than flee from the Nightskins.
That's so non-Star Wars.
You know what he's sounding like is in the 8 for a Duba 4 comic.
Don Juan Quixote.
Yes, he's sounding like him.
Very regal,
Yes.
very proper, very English. All right, now, if you've forgotten that this is a Star Wars issue, which you probably had, like we had, Leia pops up, and these brave, masculine warriors come to her aid. And Leia and these Nightskin warriors keep saying that they don't understand each other, but I don't get that because, like, in the recent Star Wars comics, there's always an asterisk that says what's being translated.
Right.
I guess they didn't have that back then, but you want to say to these characters, just read the dialogue bubbles. They're right there.
All right.
Now, Leia, I think this is Leia. Is that Leia right there?
My.
Up top to the left? What is that? Well, she says,
Blast! Their language is completely unknown to my translata-comp.
All right, then Leia and Aron, they sound out their names to each other. And yeah, good luck getting the rest of their names. It's almost like Planet of the Apes when Taylor was trying to teach Nova her name. Nova.
Okay.
Nova. Now, Leia finds it curious that they have an anti-hovercraft, but yet still fight with primitive swords. And that was my first thought when I saw that first panel of the battle. Why are they carrying these swords?
Okay.
Well, she also recalls passing by a ruined city that looked like a nuclear bomb was responsible. Oh, another Planet of the Apes reference.
Oh my goodness.
Now, where is this story going? Hard to tell. So, let's take a commercial break.
We'll return after these messages.
All right, now this Marvel Hostess crossover ad is titled The Thing in A Lesson to Be Learned.
That's right. Now, we open up with The Thing and a few young friends off to a baseball game. Gotta love the cross promotion with the kid wearing a Spider-Man shirt. It's so cute. All right, Richard, why don't you be The Thing?
To be streetwise, you gotta stop bullying around. Besides, it ain't good for your image. You can be a good guy and tough at the same time.
Suddenly, a woman cries out as a mugger races away. Stop that man! He's got my wallet! The Thing throws down a pack of cupcakes in front of the thief.
Watch these Hostess cupcakes stop the thief in his tracks. Then the thief says, "Wow, what a catch! This is the best loot I've ever scored."
With a wallet full of cash, the thief stops and picks up the 25-cent Hostess snacks. The Thing grabs the thief by the scruff and throws the cupcakes to the kids.
Here, guys, take care of these Hostess cupcakes while I teach this crook a lesson.
Take care of them? Are they supposed to hold them, or are they going to eat them? I would eat them.
Either one's fine.
The Thing grabs the thief upside down by the ankles and shakes all the stolen loot from his pockets.
Hey, klepto, looks like you've made rounds today.
The two boys and the woman are all having their best day while snacking on delicious Hostess cupcakes.
The first little boy says, "Chocolatey devil's food cake, cream filling, yum!"
And fudgy icing.
I'd say this has been a good lesson and good taste.
You get a big delight in every bite of Hostess cupcakes.
The end.
I'd say this has been a lesson in good taste.
All
That's the moral. That's my takeaway.
All right. Maria says, "I'm loving all of this." Thank you, Maria.
Willie says, Han Solo is my favorite. Okay. Thank you, Willie.
All right. Well, my takeaway
Yes.
is that why would anyone in Earth 616 need superpowers?
Uh-huh.
All they need are Hostess snacks. In the past, we've seen dozens of villains of all stages get thwarted by Twinkies, a good fruit snack cake, a cupcake. They don't need super strength or web-slinging abilities or the power of flight. They just need a good snack pack you could get for $1 at 7-Eleven. I'm sure right now Kevin Feige's thinking, oh, this changes everything for us moving forward.
Especially Avengers Doomsday.
Yes. Now, compared to what the Thing has dealt with in the past, this is like a D-level crime. You know, you put like PJ Masks or Paw Patrol on this one, okay? Now, spoiler alert, I did hear that this thief makes a cameo in the upcoming Fantastic Four film. Yeah, Doctor Doom has to defeat him in the first act in order to take control of the universe. Okay, I've said too much. All right, cut away.
Back to the show.
The Night Skins hovercraft races towards the Outlands by city of Kavor.
Oh, boy.
Aron says in his narration that all the communication between Kavor and the capital city of Equilibrium.
Oh my god.
Ilaquarium?
Illyria Cum.
This is the city that the battle took place a couple of pages ago.
Okay. So this is not where we are. This is where the battle took place. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So there is no Fatum Fast Fact for Equilibrium. Thank goodness, because it's harder to say this name than anything that Timothy Zahn ever threw at us.
Absolutely. Joris Sabaoth.
Now, along the way, as Aron tries to teach Leia basic knowledge of their language, he tries to figure out if she's a friend or a foe.
So they don't quite trust each other yet.
Now, soon they reach Kavor and gaze at the ruined city and the great pit of hell.
That's right. As they get closer, Leia realizes this destruction could only have been made from an antimatter bomb. She tries to tell Aron that they can't get any closer or they will die from radiation. Realizing he doesn't understand, Leia tries the next best thing to communicate: charades. Yeah.
That'll work.
These Night Skins are obviously great at charades, since they get that they should not enter the city or they will die in just one of Leia's gestures. Although DeLuise thinks this may be a trap, Aron is inclined to believe her and steers away from the burnt city of Kavor, thereby saving all of them, including Princess Leia.
Now, Leia, she thinks that this is the work of the Empire, but is confused as to why they are here on this world. Whatever the reason, she knows it's up to her to stop them.
Well, DeLuise has an inner monologue running that suggests he will turn on Aron and the others, and very soon the crown, wife, and the planet will be his.
What? A new wrinkle?
What?
A new wrinkle in the story? Is DeLuise, is he really a villain? Dumb DeLuise would never do this. Never. And what wife are you saying? Wait a minute, there hasn't been a wife here.
All right. Let's check it out.
That's the wife we're talking about.
Whoa.
Reason enough for DeLuise to turn.
Oh my goodness. All right, here we get another splash page, and we see Aron sitting at his desk in a luxurious library. There's tea, books, some mail scattered about. It's a very rich room, and Aron is lounging in his skivvies, as these guys are wont to do.
Now he's leaning back in his chair. No, don't lean back any longer, or this will really be an R-rated comic.
Now, in the doorway in the background, we see a beautiful, curvy woman in a prototype Leia bikini outfit. And she's in a very come-hither stance, one arm raised against the door frame, and she's kind of, in the doorway. But he's not looking at her. Aron is not looking at her.
Well, I don't think he sees her.
No.
How? I don't know. Now, in these past weeks, Aron has been trying to figure out who was behind the destruction of Kavor. However, with each passing day, tales spread throughout the land. Kavor was destroyed because Aron went in and smashed the ancient war gods' death cults and slayed their priests. That might be a good enough reason for revenge. So now the wife, she comes through the door in her prototype Leia outfit. Even Jabba the Hutt would say, okay, that's a little too revealing.
Yeah, and her name is Alyssande, and she sneaks up behind him, Aron. And he's not much of a warrior if he did not see her standing in the doorway. And she does the whole guess who thing, covers his eyes. Oh, guess who it is? And what does he come back with?
He comes back with that voice and that perfume. Who else could it be but Kéral Longknife?
And that's the dog character, right?
Yes.
Yeah, with that, Alyssande is understandably upset and slaps him upside the head. He then calls her
a wench, you wench.
And grabs her ankle, knocking her down. He gets right up close and she says, "Sir, you seem to have me at a disadvantage."
Madam, I mean to keep it that way.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And all the while, their alligator pet is on the side going,
Grump. And that's translated, I'm sure, for hey, you two. This is still a Star Wars comic book meant for 10-year-olds. Take that over to late night Cinemax, why don't you?
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Is that what that is?
Little alligator pet just sitting there.
I did not realize that was a pet.
Grup, like, come on.
That's so funny.
And as the two are making out, Aron admits in his inner dialogue that a new face flashed through his mind. The outworld stranger, our guest, Leia. He then suggests to Alessandre that they move this weighty discussion to their chambers. What is happening?
Wow. Now, again, we see this whole page here. No Leia drawn in it at all. She is just in the narration, in his thought bubble.
Okay, so is that enough for a Star Wars comic?
I mean, they're repurposing the art, so this is obviously another one of those pages that is being repurposed. Who is this comic for? This Aron, what is it, Carter? John Carter
John
comic?
Carter, yeah.
What is the age group that this is going
For
toward?
the 18 and over.
Apparently. My goodness.
All right, now, can someone please get me a Star Wars comic book in here? Please, as we go through these pages. We apparently cut to the aftermath of whatever they did in their chambers. Aron is naked with only a towel covering his privates.
Like he's holding it in front of his privates, so he's like not wearing anything. Oh my goodness.
And Chiba, that's the alligator. He goes, "Wine." He literally goes, "Wine." Translated, what do you think he's saying right there?
I'm sorry, kids. On behalf of Marvel, we are sorry you have to sit through this. I promise we'll get to Star Warsing very soon. Wine.
That's exactly what I would have thought he would have said.
I know, and Alessandra, meanwhile, she's still dressed in her Leia outfit because you don't really need to take that off.
All right, but she's
I know, I'm getting red in the face.
But you know what? Something's bothering her because she comments that ever since he's gotten back, he's been distant, almost like a hermit. And his conflicted inner dialogue tries to rationalize that as much as he loves his wife, he can't stop thinking about Princess Leia.
Whoa.
So once again, they gotta get a Star Wars word in every page at least.
Yes. She then says she has spoken to Leia, who has told her about this vast, greedy empire. And after speaking with the archivists on Kavor, nothing known to their science could have brought as much destruction, so maybe it was the Empire that destroyed
Equilibrium.
Yeah.
That planet.
Wow.
Like that's the central city.
And again, here we have this description of talks with Leia, thoughts about Leia, but no Leia actually in the pages. And so what has Leia been doing this whole time? Has she been trying to get off world? Like this is like weeks, right?
Yeah, this is some time has passed.
Yeah, it's so weird. All right, let's move on. So Leia then enters Aron and Alessandre's room. I hope she knocked.
I don't think she did.
She's in a beautiful yellow gown, and Aron thinks
her entrance took my breath away. In a little over a month, there's a time frame right there. In a little over a month, the desert waif I'd rescued had been transformed into a beauty whose grace and majesty rivaled that of my incomparable wife. So, judging by what you just said, Aron, it sounds like she isn't incomparable then. Doesn't anyone proof these?
I don't know, but then you were talking about Doctor Strange capes in the notes, and I see it now. So, Richard, let's see. In this previous panel...
Okay, he puts on a big green cape with a Doctor Strange collar on it.
That's right. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, very Doctor Strange. Wow. And then now all of a sudden he's wearing blue.
Now the color of the cape has turned blue. It better not turn red.
No.
All right, Aron is so taken aback that he has to thrust his sudden dangerous thoughts.
What? From his mind. He's okay. Finish the sentence.
I couldn't finish that sentence. I'm just so taken aback by this dialogue. He's got to thrust his sudden dangerous thoughts from his mind.
Oh my God.
Now, apparently these aren't too sudden because this is all you've been thinking about during your little nookie time with his wife.
Afternoon delight.
Yes. From, what's her name? Alessandra.
Alessandra. Yes. Yeah. Now, Alessandra has some extremely raised eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she's clocking all this. She sees
She's a
what's
woman.
Up. Yeah, absolutely. She knows. She knows what's up. All right. Now, oh, wait a minute.
What? Oh, no.
Aron is wearing a red cape.
Okay, went from green to blue, and now it's red.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. All right, now Aron, Leia, and Alessandra, they enter the Great Hall where they celebrate the first-year anniversary of the signing of the Concordat of Peace. Concordat of Peace. My goodness. However, he is very worried about the fragile victory and how quickly this could all collapse. Because remember, he is in power because he killed off all these other priests and deities.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that, you know what, they could form an uprising at any time.
All right.
Okay, bear with us. We're close to the end here. Let's see if this gets to Star Warsing anytime now.
Okay.
So Aron introduces Leia. Oh, we're Star Warsing.
There she is.
He introduces her to friends, children, comrades, and C.O. Bibble.
C.O. Bibble?
Yes. Oh, see that guy to the right? That's C.O. Bibble.
That absolutely is.
So this is really Star Warsing now. You add C.O. Bibble into anything, it's suddenly Star Wars.
What a funny name.
Now, Deloise approaches and asks Leia for the first dance. Alessandra's radar is going off once again as she notices Aron watching Leia dance.
Husband, you gaze at Leia as you once looked at me. My goodness.
She says that it's no crime to be tempted by another's beauty. It's just what he does about it.
Mm-hmm.
If only you could see his thoughts. She also cares about Leia as a friend and as a daughter. All right, right there is a reason to make him back away. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want your man to back away from a woman? Say, hey, she reminds me of a daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, later.
Wow.
Okay, go to the next page.
Okay.
Maybe this is where the issue starts to Star Wars.
Okay, well, in order to get rid of Leia thoughts, right, he grabs his wife and they go out dancing on the dance floor. And the narration describes that usually after, they find a convenient shadowed alcove where they kiss like lovers a fraction of their age. Now, what is with all this dialogue saying they're old? They don't look old.
Oh, come on. They're like in their late 20s.
I don't know.
I guess in John Carter years, that's like really old.
I guess so. Well, Aron noticed that Deloise had never left Leia's side, but she occasionally tried to leave him.
All right, now, it's funny because this panel shows Leia racing away with force speed. She occasionally tried to leave him.
Yeah, finally she races away and gives a small strangled cry. Deloise tried to follow, but Aron cut him off.
Aron sees her on the balcony crying and says he wants to help. And she says,
"Can you whistle up a starship and send me home?"
And he says, no. So much time has passed, and she wonders if a rescue ship never made it through that minefield she was caught in. She then hopes a rescue ship won't return.
Wait,
what?
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 Well, her inner monologue is saying that she was partying, flirting, and dancing at this party, and she was happy. She wasn't Leia Organa, rebel hero, princess, senator, but a woman enjoying herself at a fabulous party.
All right, I'm beginning to give up any hope that this issue is going to Star Wars at any time.
As she continues to say how guilty she feels because everyone on Alderaan had died while she lives, she has now grown a full beard.
How long have they been out in that balcony? She's got a full facial scruff. Look at the upper right-hand panel.
Now, it's supposed to be shadowing, but yeah, they didn't really think that through.
No, I think it's supposed to be another character. And they forgot to take out the scruff.
She is wearing some makeup, too. Look at that electric blue eyeshadow.
Mm-hmm. Now, Aron empathizes by saying that he once had a daughter who died of a disease they both had. She died while he lived. Like him, she should continue living. And as they hug, Leia looks at the reader like, Han Solo who?
Han Solo never had this kind of an outfit. Oh boy.
Well, this guy Aron Peacebringer looks like Han Solo, so I can see what's going on here.
I suppose.
I'm trying to make this work.
All right, shall we move on?
Now at the end, the issue starts to Star Wars as two Blackguard stormtroopers descend from the night sky and knock out Aron. And Leia screams,
"Enormous stormtroopers!"
There you have your big stormtroopers.
It's the cover shot right here.
In a matter of seconds, Leia and Aron are bound and gagged and brought up the rope ladder to the waiting TIE boarding craft. And within seconds, the ship speeds away without notice.
Havero races out to the balcony. He's confused as to where Leia and Aron went since he didn't see them leave. He goes to alert Alisand and the War Council.
On board the Imperial ship, Aron is brought before Scar. We'll call him Scar.
Scar.
Yes. Now we're getting a Lion King crossover.
What does Scar look like?
He's a purple Thanos knockoff.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like the kind of the, what, armor?
The armor
pieces?
like Thanos,
Yeah.
And that same coloring. Now, guess what we have? A Fatum Fast Fact.
Woohoo!
Now, Scar's race was never mentioned in this issue, but it was later retconned to be Kalish in the 2007 hyperspace publication, Aliens in the Empire. Now, like we said earlier, Kalish, they are the same species, the same race as General Grievous. And Scar was later referenced in the Wizards of the Coast sourcebook, Galaxy at War. This is back in 2009. And this further expanded his backstory.
Nice.
So once again, getting these characters from the classic Marvel Star Wars comics and bringing them over to other Star Wars media. Now, as Scar holds Aron by the throat, he reveals that he is a general in the Imperial Strike Force. He tells Aron that his pathetic little planet is his next target. "We will fight you, Scar, and make you rue the day you ever set eyes on my world." All right, right there, that saves the whole comic. Whenever you fit the word rue, you're going to rue the day. You know what? You just saved yourself.
Rue or vex. Those words, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Aron made a huge leap in logic to think that Scar is behind the unrest in the country. But whatever, it seems like I'm just annoyed that this comic wasn't a one-off and that we have another one. Oh boy.
Because the next issue is Starfire Rising.
Well, okay, unlike me, Maria thinks that this story is very compelling.
Oh, okay.
I'm very glad, Maria.
Well, good. You know what? If we could make this story compelling, then we've done our job.
Yes.
But hold on. There's more to come, okay?
More to come, but right now we're going to share our thoughts on this comic book. So, Richard, what were your thoughts on this comic?
I've got to admit, this was tough. Now, an Ian Malcolm quote comes to mind. "Do you plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour?" Best line from Jurassic Park. Only here, it's, "Do you plan to Star Wars in this Star Wars comic?" I applaud Marvel for not wasting art, but use that somewhere else. Maybe continue the John Carter line at another time, but don't mix your John Carter with our Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, I know as a kid, I definitely did not read this issue. I probably just zoomed through all the pages looking for Star Wars.
You just looked at the last page. It was like, oh, look,
Yeah.
giant stormtroopers.
If they wanted to reuse this artwork, they should have just done a flashback issue using artwork from the past 52 issues.
That would have been much, much better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, had we not been covering this comic for the podcast, I would have rifled through it to the final 2 pages where the stormtroopers arrived.
Mhm.
Like, as soon as we got to that first part where they were introducing those 4 characters and all the weird words, I'd been like, I'm out, and then fast forward. And they, honestly, like, looking at it as a story editor, they really could have fast forward through all that crap in the middle and have Leia found by the guys, taken back to the palace, and then, like, that night, the stormtroopers rounded her up. And then that could have been 4 pages of the comic. And then off we go to have the next issue summarized in there in the comic pages.
What you never want to do as a writer is put in names where the reader keeps stumbling over them.
Yes.
So there was never a time where you could fluidly just read the comic, because you always had these places like the City of Equilibrium. We need to find this somewhere in a narration that can show us how to say this word.
Illycurium or something. Yeah. Real M. Walker says definitely seems very John Carter-ish.
Yeah, that's Writers 101.
Right.
Keep your names simple. Han, Luke, Leia.
Exactly. So I give this comic 1 out of 5 He-Mans. Mostly because they put Leia in that pretty outfit by the end. In that yellow dress.
All right, I give it 3 enormous stormtroopers.
Out of how many?
100.
Okay, there you go.
All right, now let's go over our favorite panel.
Yes. Okay, can I guess what yours is, Richard?
Yes, venture a guess.
Were they enormous stormtroopers?
Enormous stormtroopers, the Black Guard stormtroopers jumping through space, and Leia and Aron making a nice crisscross pattern like an X, like X marks the spot.
Oh, I like that.
And that TIE boarding ship hovering above them. But hold on, where's the ladder?
Uh-oh.
In the next page, next panel, we see the ladder. Here, there's no ladder.
No, they fly now.
They fly now?
They fly now.
Yeah, but once again, the whole geometry of this panel works extremely well.
I can see that. And similarly, guess what? My favorite panel did not include any of the Mars guys. The John Carter guys.
Nightskins?
Nope. It was towards the beginning of this comic with Leia with Obi-Wan over her shoulder. I just really like this. And honestly, you get rid of the narration on the top and bottom of this panel. This could have been a nice, cool bit of 1960s pop art on your wall.
Yeah, do you know what she's thinking here? I remember you when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
When we were running around the city of Dayu.
That's right. Aww.
That's what she's saying. All right. Favorite line of dialogue or narration?
Richard?
Leia, when she says,
I hope I'm not jumping out of a TIE fighter into the Death Star.
That's just too funny.
I don't think you like the dialogue on this page, Richard. I think you like the panel of art.
I'm sorry, what?
This is the one where Leia is really working on her glutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, my favorite line of dialogue is the alligator creature, the Chiba. He's going, whine. Whine.
Chiba, you aren't the only one.
Oh. Okay, Richard, so what was your most non-Star Wars moment?
Every single 21 pages.
You mean like this?
Yes, page 1 to 21 was my most non-Star Wars moment in The Last Gift from Alderaan.
Oh my goodness. All right, my most non-Star Wars moment, and there were a lot, had to be on page 5 where Leia narrates in a thought bubble, I'll be making a ballistic approach, hitting the atmosphere like a meteor. Is she reading off NASA records or something? It's so funny.
Yeah, we don't need half this dialogue. Just we can see it in the panels. Let the artwork speak for itself. You didn't want to waste it, so why hide it behind thought bubbles?
Absolutely. Real M. Walker. By the power of the Death Star, I mean Grayskull. Very nice.
Yeah, very, very fitting. All right, now before we wrap up, you know what we got to do, right?
Yes.
We got to go to Star Words.
Yay!
And this was the internet of the Marvel comic world. This was Twitter, where people could go and either complain about something or complain, or maybe give a nice compliment.
Well, you're going to read one of these notes, right? These letters?
Yes, this one comes from Larry Young Jr. And Larry Young Jr. says, Dear Beggars Canyon Real Estate Company. All right, I'm already confused. I feel strangely forced to write and convey my infinite gratitude to Larry Hama, Carmine Infantino, and Carlos Garzon for producing the best Star Wars comic. And he's referring to issue 48, or the issue that we call the Sarah Birth issue.
Ah, the one with Leia and Darth Vader on the cover.
Mm-hmm. All right, Larry goes on by saying, it warms the very cockles of my tauntaun.
Keep going.
to have such a true addition to the saga. And this was the most fantastic art that ever graced such a well thought out plot. If Princess Leia can be drawn in subsequent issues as she was drawn in issue 48, I might just get a subscription. By the way, I like this issue. Larry Young Jr., 33, Chatterton Park, Proctor, Vermont, 05765.
Wow. Okay.
So, judging by this issue, 53, The Last Gift from Alderaan, I don't think Larry Young Jr. will ever be getting a subscription.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So, I got lots of questions for you, Larry Young Jr. Who did you think you were writing to when you started the letter? Dear Beggars Canyon Real Estate Company.
I think he was trying to stand out, maybe, in the crowd of letters, right? I don't know. It was very odd.
Okay, we'll let that one go. But you got to stand up for this one here. I also want to know what he meant by, it warms the very cockles of my tauntaun.
Wow.
Well, it does kind of go in the theme and the tone of this issue. So, you know what? Larry Young Jr., you nailed it.
Wow, Skywalkers. Well, that wraps up episode 510 of
Skywalking Through Neverland. We got to thank Marvel Comics for writing such a great issue and for not wasting a dime with the John Carter artwork. And we want to thank all you Skywalkers who listen every week. You watch our live show, you chat in the Sky Chat, you watch our videos. We just put up a whole bunch of brand new videos on Season of the Force, on Star Wars Night. We had an interview with Stephen Costantino, who played a Gamorrean God in Return of the Jedi. Put all that up on our socials. Thank you once again for subscribing to our YouTube channels and everything that you do for us.
Yes, and we are on socials at Skywalking Pod. Now, one of the things we love is interacting with all of you. So we have every week, Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, a Things We Want to Share live stream. And we share things we've done the past week. We update you on live appearances. We also invite you Skywalkers to come up and we play some trivia games. This past Things We Want to Share was all about trivia. And I think everyone had a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of pop culture trivia that time around. Now, are you interested in our books? Well, autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History Part 1 and 2 and Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available now at skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book.
Would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? You can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. In fact, we are going to put out our WonderCon trivia panel as an episode for the Skywalking Force only because we don't want to release it in public because it has all the trivia answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So only the Skywalking Force has access to content like that. So you can head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options, and thank you to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force. Also, we want to remind you that we have a new merch store. It's Dashery. So head to skywalkingthroughneverland.dashery.com.
Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park, a Disney cruise, or to a Universal Studios theme park? We can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check them out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
We are part of the Skywalking Network,
Skynet,
where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
Star Warsologies,
the Max Effects Podcast,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis,
and
Today in Star Wars History. Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember
to keep your John Carter out of our Star Wars.
And
Neverland on Alderaan.
I just hit record, so I need you to stop messing with your microphone and do your clappy claps. This is what... The last classic Marvel Star Wars comics issue to take the cart. Oh my gosh. Blah. Okay. The last classic Marvel Star Wars, my gosh, is the Tauntaun popcorn bucket. Look at this. Okay, so I'm going to show you. It can turn his head. Boop, 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 boop. It also, if you press a little button here, I wonder if he has different things. Ooh. My goodness. And so he can move his little arms just like that. Oh, not too far. I think is that it? Yeah. Oh, Mike, did you get one? All right. And he can move his feet. His legs can move. And then his tail, it came like this and he couldn't stand up. So if you get one, just kind of physically move the tail and it will kind of stay up. And then if you're wondering where the popcorn goes, it goes like this. So there we go. Quite a big cavity for popcorn. Of course, they never give you the popcorn in your Tauntaun. So, yes, we love the Hoth creatures, Maria. We have Tauntauns and Wampas aplenty. And we had to get little Tawny here. He's so cute.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.